Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
on the morning shift.
anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Wow, I can't believe it, what's going on right now. Thanks for being with us, everyone. It's an interesting day for sure. Always anything can happen, as it says in the pre-log of the show. Thanks for joining us. It is Monday, July the 15th, 2024. Weird things happening around the world. So I guess compared to, what's been going on in the United States the last, since Saturday night, I guess it's not too much to complain about anyways, just a bunch of devices not being able to work properly. I just clicked on the device to say play for the radio now. I think about 150 times while we were trying to get our show going, but on the 151st, it actually worked. So not sure what's happening with that. Everything else working perfectly fine, but this morning, that's what happened. So we are here. We're ready to go. The show is going to go ahead regardless. I appreciate all of your patience. Thank you so much for sticking with us this morning as we got our technology moving along. And I hope everyone's having a great day so far. Hopefully it just began, right? So hopefully it'll be good going forward as well. Today, we're live on CKLU 96.7 FM. We're also streaming at cklu.ca. We are also found at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News for the time being. And we hope to be here for a long time. But depending on government regulations and things surrounding free speech, we don't know how long we will be here. This show is entirely volunteer run, self-funded. And as you could probably tell from the beginning of the show, if it's the first time you've tuned in and you're watching, you know that we probably don't have a huge payroll and people working behind the scenes on the show. But that is the way it is. And so that's what we do. So make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow the channels and pages that we have. We also will be found on demand afterwards on facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News, and twitter.com/Sudbury News. You can also catch us on our website, sudbury.news, which is Sudbury's news aggregator, meant to be a service to the community, the journalism community, as well as the community at large, to aggregate all of the local news into one webpage. So you have sudbury.com, Sudbury Star, CTV, Northern Ontario, and CBC Sudbury, which we will be sharing some stories from those outlets this morning. And so without further ado, we probably want to get on with the show because we got off to a bit of a start that was not something that we wanted to do. And now we have a pop-up, which I don't know what's going on here. And let's just head in, and we'll check in with you guys when we're back right after this. And Sudbury weather brought to you by DuckCheck, duckcheck.com. Oh, I just reversed the thing for today, but let's just do this. Okay, here we go. We'll be back in a second. There we are. Okay. So Sudbury weather brought to you by DuckCheck. Give them a call, 705-918-4848, and visit duckcheck.com, DUCT check.com. Let them know we sent you. You get $100 off your next inspection and duct cleaning. Currently, it is 19 degrees Celsius out there. There is some fog. Today, mainly cloudy, 30% chance of showers early this morning, 40% chance of showers this afternoon. Risk of thunderstorm in the afternoon as well, and those fog patches will be dissipating in the morning. Wind becoming southwest 20 kilometers late this afternoon, high of 26. With the humidex, however, it will feel like 32 degrees. The UV index will be 7 or very high. Tonight, partly cloudy, 40% chance of showers. Early this evening, a few showers beginning near midnight. Risk of thunderstorm, low of 17. Tuesday, a few showers ending in the morning, then cloudy with a risk of thunderstorm. Early this morning or early tomorrow morning, wind becoming southwest 20 kilometers in the morning. High of 25. Humidex 30. UV index 6 or very high. Long range forecast. Tuesday again, a few showers, high of 25. 30% chance of showers on Wednesday. And I just have to say, all those days last week where it said 30%, 40% chance of showers, we might have received 10 minutes of rain through all those days. So we've received mostly sun and hot, humid weather this last week. And it looks like we're in for more of the same. Sunny and 25 on Thursday, then a mix of sun and cloud for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 26, 27 for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's looking very nice coming up in the next week. Look at your satellite. This was taken at about 12:30 a.m. And for those listening on the radio, just a few clouds over Sault Ste. Marie, just below Timmins, Sudbury, the upper peninsula of Michigan. Other than that, we're going to be getting some nice weather after those clouds roll out. That's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by Duck Check. And don't duck around if you want to make sure that the air that you're cleaning or the air that you're breathing inside your home is clean. Give them a call, 705-918-4848, or visit them at ductcheck, D-U-C-T, check.com. Let them know we sent you. You'll get $100 off your next duct cleaning. We'll be back with your comments, news headlines, and more right after this. Okay, and we're back. And so, yeah, just to let everyone know, I just didn't get much sleep last night. And therefore, my eyesight, which is always bad, which will be even worse today. So hopefully I'll be able to read everyone's comments. When I don't get much sleep, for some reason, my eyesight isn't the greatest. It's pretty blurry, and it's blurry at best most days. But anyways, we do have a great show planned for today in terms of our deep dive anyways. Considering what happened on Saturday night, I'm sure you've heard by now there was an assassination attempt on the former president, Donald Trump. Canadian news, however, we heard mixed things. It was mainly, I remember someone yesterday telling me, the CBC News covered it and said there was a few popping sounds at Donald Trump's rally, and then they just went on to other news. And I was like, whoa, you're kidding me. Because I was actually came in for my grandson's birthday party, popped on the news just to check out what was going on, went through, and I like watching American news and Canadian news. And so it was on American news to begin with, and it was headlines, Donald Trump, there was an incident at the rally and whatever, and I rewound it because it's a DVR, and I rewound quite a bit to before the shooting even happened, and so I really didn't know what happened until I watched it, and that, anyways, pretty surprising or not, and that's what we'll get into a little bit later. We have a prediction from somebody basically predicting that's what was going to happen. And so hopefully we have time to get to those videos today, and I'm able to read people's comments. So let's just look into this here. Let's see if we can. And it's Nana, first to the YouTube party this morning. Good morning to you and all of your listeners, and wishing you all a wonderful day. Yes, this is going to be hard today, so I apologize. Judy, good morning to you, first to the Facebook party. Monique, good morning. Sudbury. And Denise, blessings. Everyone, I noticed today for the show, I got a notice for the show today. Well, that's great. You know what? Facebook probably knew it was going to be a botched beginning or something. I said, yeah, we'll put it out to everyone this morning. And we had an interesting beginning anyway. So thanks for sticking with us. Marianne, good morning, everyone from Barrie, liked and shared as usual. Good morning, Marianne. Thanks for being with us. And Belinda, good morning to you as well. And let's see if I can make my way through this. Usually has a very profound positive statement every day. When living in dark times, they will be a time to choose between what is easy and what is right. Speak the truth, even if your voice shakes. Okay, so speak the truth even if your voice shakes. So there is a time to be able to choose between what is easy and what is right. So usually the easy road isn't the right road. It's usually the hard choices in life that things that are easy come with things that are worth it come with a price, right? So I really appreciate that comment for the day. Has it started? Yeah, exactly. Mine says it will start soon. Yeah, we were a little bit of a weird beginning to the show. I apologize for that. It was the first time we ever had to put your broadcast will start soon on. I had that as a backup just in case we would have problems, and I got a chance to use it today. And I'm noticing even the volume isn't very loud. The feed anyways, going to the radio. It's the first time I'm monitoring it here. And yeah, so not sure if there's something going on. So I apologize for those on the radio if the sound isn't very loud. Not on purpose, that's for sure. And good morning to you, Maurice. Hope you're having a good morning. Morning, Vin. Thanks for being with us, everyone, and sticking with us. Denise says YouTube is waiting for the internet. It's not playing. Well, with people today, we have to be patient. Hopefully, we will return shortly. Thank you very much. Yes, that's everyone jumping on. Yeah, nice start to a Monday. I hope that's not a sign of things to come, Miles. Thanks for being on. Good morning. From Debbie, a sunshine emoji or a smiley emoji. Denise, sharing is caring. Well, thank you very much. And Pat, good morning. A little foggy here. Yes, as we said in the weather this morning, a little bit foggy for sure. Good morning, everyone. All have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy. And that's Denise. Like and share. Yes, thank you so much. Denise also, different Denise. If you just call it Mornings with Aaron. Possibly, yes. We could change the name. I'm sure Stephen, our old friend who is on the show all the time, would appreciate that because he took exception with the name of the show. And friends, yes. Aaron and friends. For sure. Marianne says, watching and listening and watering my garden, which needs to be watered. And I thought of that this morning for our own garden. We didn't get much rain yesterday, so it needed a little extra. And Pat says, fog is better than smoke. And I do agree with that. 100%. I don't know. Everyone said, did the Simpsons predict the assassination attempt on Donald Trump? And you know what? There were memes going around where it showed him in a coffin or whatever, but then there was also a lot of information out there that said that was not true, that was just a picture, made it look like they had a show about it. But so I went around trying to find evidence of the show that talked about that, and I couldn't find it myself. So not sure. Now they predict many things, the Simpsons, that is. We'll have to look into that and see if that was indeed true. Denise, friends in the States have video of the shooter on the roof before a bullet was even fired. That's right. So what happened was, in case people weren't aware, and I'm sure you are, that there were people pointing out the fact that there was a young man climbing upstairs with camouflage attire on with a rifle in his hand or on his personage, climbing up the stairs to the roof of a building that was, I don't know, almost 200 yards away or a little bit less from where Trump was standing. And they alerted police that he was there, and the police really didn't pay much attention to that for some reason. And lo and behold, what happened. And so they're wondering what happened. Like, why didn't the police do anything about it? And even some reports say a police officer did go up onto the roof, but then came back down. And maybe that startled him, and he had to fire quicker than he normally thought he would have, and that's why he didn't get his target. And unfortunately, there were not only he was killed immediately after firing at Donald Trump, but a spectator at the rally was killed. And anyway, so there's a lot going around. A lot of people are wondering what happened with that, why that was allowed to go on without, and there were other snipers on roofs that seemed to be even looking in his direction with their scopes. And so their scopes, they would be able to see. And there's not too many roofs. They're out in a field. There's only a couple buildings in this field or this area or surrounding the field. So you would think that the Secret Service would see the would-be shooter on a roof dressed in camouflage, laying down with a rifle pointed at Donald Trump. But no, they were spectators, told police, and the word didn't get to the snipers. But again, the snipers would have saw him, because you would think that's what they're trained to do, is to look around at possible shooting areas at high elevations. Anyone with a good view of Donald Trump, they would be looking for these people, right? You would think that'd be part of their training. But anyways, they missed it. Okay, also saw a picture that had a bulletproof, that he had a bulletproof vest on, and looks like a hole in it. So is that Donald Trump who had a bulletproof vest on? Whether it's real or not, or AI, who knows these days, right? But again, Simpsons said it would happen. Okay, that's interesting. I'd have to see the Simpsons video. Maybe a lot of you guys have seen it already, and if that's true, well, that's crazy, because they predict all kinds of stuff. Miles says, I noticed how the liberal news immediately criticizing Polyev for saying he's happy the shooter was killed. The main thing in their headline this morning, what a joke. Okay, so that's interesting. So you're noticing a spin that our Canadian state-run, or at least state-funded media, they put their own slants on it. It's so apparent. It's crazy. Like, once you start noticing it, you can't unnotice it. It's just interesting the things they focus on. And so hopefully with the deep dive today, we'll be able to shed a little light on that as well. Smile says, because the liberal catch and release policy works so well. And Marianne says, yes, saw that. Pretty sick to wish someone harm, but then again, take it where it's coming from. And I believe we are headed into turbulent times, which I do believe myself, have faith. The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy itself. Well, that's interesting. Denise says, yes, the world is a stage. All of we for all we know, he had a blood pellet in his hand. Yeah, smacked it on his ear and wiped it across his face. And this is Hollywood, right? So definitely crossed my mind and many of my friends' minds. So you never know what goes on or what they will do. So was it a staged inside job type of thing? You know, again, these things do happen, and you would have to ask yourself and look at the evidences. I know if you go back to a former president that was assassinated way back in the day, that they made a movie which really shows a lot in it. Oliver Stone's JFK, right? Pretty incredible. The fact that still today mainstream still goes along with the single bullet theory and the Warren Commission and all this stuff. It's like everybody knows it was an orchestrated inside government operation. There's no doubt about it. But again, they just won't acknowledge it. They won't release any of the findings from the Secret Service back in the day. But Pat saying Secret Service didn't do a good job. There could have been another shooter and Trump's head was exposed. They would have got him. So that was Pat. And Denise says 100% waiting for a second shot, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. So Marianne says, yes, my understanding is the man that died was retired fire chief, and he was. That is true. Apparently he died while he was, he laid upon his family type of thing to protect them. That's what I heard. And Debbie is saying, yep. And good morning, Debbie. It's all staged, which I will totally say that it's a chance that is true. 100%. I'm not denying that. What I will be doing, like I do with everything, is as information's coming out, just look into it and try to see if that indeed was the case. Lots of speculation. Some say it was staged. This is Pat. I wonder if we'll ever know the truth. Well, yeah, the truth eventually comes out. Imagine the FBI are investigating the shooter's home. Same FBI that raided Donald Trump's home. Nothing makes sense. Yes, that is true. And Denise says, also, The Simpsons predicted there are many, many people out in the world that have been connecting the dots and sharing that information with each other. We just can't get the other people to understand or listen to what we're saying because the truth is so unbelievable. Who could believe it? Yeah, you got to hand it to The Simpsons. They definitely, I heard anyways, that the Secret Service or the FBI approaches them and says, or pays them, or I don't know, and says, here, you need to put this content into your cartoons. Anyways, I heard that. Do I know that 100%? I don't. Pat says, if it was staged, it was a bad acting job on all their parts. Yeah, it would be. For sure. But again, were things ever staged in the past? Ever? You know, they were. You can do this kind of thing. Was it? We don't know. So Belinda says, that's how you expose a corrupt system. Draw out your enemy. Never interrupt your enemy when you're making mistakes. Exposure, worldwide scale. True, many tactics in that realm. Marianne also chimes in. There were many assassinations. Some succeeded and some did not. So again, assassination attempts do occur. And we'll check into this little prediction in a bit. 24 hours after the incident, Mr. McDonald, the songwriter, had a song ready to go. That's pretty fast, don't you think? Staged for sure. That's Denise. Is that the Canadian rapper guy? Tom McDonald, yeah. That's who you're talking about. Yeah, well, He is pretty quick though too, but yeah, who knows. Debbie says and it's opening. Oh, it's topping the charts, the song. Well, it would. And Kevin, good morning to my family and friends. Good morning to you as well. Great chatting with you yesterday, Kevin. It was an awesome conversation, an awesome visit. Miles says, well, Trump does have a lot of major corporate friends to set something up like this, but who knows? When it comes to Secret Service, the CIA director once said something to the effect of, when we know everything society believes is a lie, you'll know we've done our job, right? So who says things like that? And why do we have to live in a world like that? But anyways, that was a former CIA director said, we'll know we did our job when everything everyone believes is a lie. So just to give you an idea and who was involved in all of this that happened on Saturday night, right? The gullible make me really laugh sometimes. That's why we can't reach them. So with that, and then we'll dive right into our news headlines. I was with another friend yesterday, and they said, because we're talking about what just happened, what we're just talking about. And they said, well, didn't you know that an analyst found out that Trump has said 130,000 lies since, they found all the lies Donald Trump said. Almost saying, well, kind of like he might have deserved it, right? Or whatever. Like he was just lying all the time. I said, okay, that's interesting. I know he lies, and I know everybody has lied at some point in their life, and yes, he has lied, and he does embellish, and he does exaggerate, and there's no doubt about it. But then I said also, well, that's interesting. Did they also say how many lies Biden told? And she looked a little bit bewildered. And if you're listening, good morning, Isabel. Don't mean to call you out or anything, but I just wanted to share this with everyone because it's interesting. And you remember when you said, well, no, I didn't never heard of any lies Biden said. And I said, well, where did you hear the fact that Donald Trump said 130,000 lies or something? He said, well, that was on the news. Right? So that's interesting. Why wouldn't you also compare the amount of lies between the two people? Because the news doesn't do that. It only wants to show one side of something, right? So we know that Biden has had a reputation even of lying his whole career. Like he was basically the lying politician. He was caught red-handed. There's many news stories from back in the day when he was running for president the first time. He stole people's other politicians' speeches. He lied about his education. He lied about being in certain historical, like being in, different marches at different times. He's all kinds of lies, but because the news doesn't really focus on that, especially now, back in the day they did, and you can find these archived news stories, but we only hear the one side, right? The news definitely spins things and is more against one side than another instead of being unbiased. It just is. Here we just ask all the questions, right? We're just asking questions, wondering why things are the way they are. And so, yeah, let's dive right in here. Sudbury News, your news aggregator. A couple of main stories here. We'll get it up on the screen for everybody. Okay, so according to the Remaxed livability list, we're third on that list. So not too bad. That's from CTV Northern Ontario. Sudbury's Minnow Lake, New Sudbury, and South End were chosen as the most desirable neighborhoods to live in, according to 3 communities within Sudbury are the most desirable. So Minnow Lake, New Sudbury, and South End. I don't know if they've included any of the outlying areas, because there are some really cool places to live in the outlying areas of Sudbury as well. This is interesting. Uncovering the surge of hate incidents targeting South Asians in Greater Sudbury. I didn't realize that all this was going on. This is from our CBC. According to Statistics Canada latest report, the number of hate crimes targeting South Asian people has been steadily increasing since 2019. Locally, the Greater Sudbury Police Service has noticed the same trend. Okay, well, in my circles, I'm in many circles and have a lot of feet on the ground and a lot of ears in different places, meaning people that I know and hear a lot of people. I don't see that myself, but I'd have to see the statistics. I'd have to see how they're analyzing this, what it actually says, but I don't see that myself. Yeah. Well, let's just look at it then. Let's just dive right in. Okay, so the number of hate crimes in the South Asian community has grown by 143% from 2019 to 2022, according to Statistics Canada latest report. In Sudbury, these hate crimes doubled from 2 to 4 reported cases. Oh, we had 2 cases, and it doubled to 4 reported cases. Good thing to read the story, according to the Greater Sudbury Police Service. But, as Sudbury Police noted, hate crimes and hate-based incidents are extremely underreported. So we know there's more, right? So this particular person, who's chair of Greater Sudbury Police Diversity Advisory Committee, said he's seen examples of this many, many times. Sudbury is not immune to racism. Sudbury is not immune to these hate crimes. He recalls an incident at Walmart in New Sudbury. He received a phone call from a Sikh man who was being attacked for wearing a kirpan, a curved single-edged blade that Sikhs are required to wear as part of their religion. Okay. So if someone was not educated, they would see a man who's wearing a knife on his side, right? He was attacked for wearing it. Okay, the individual who targeted the Sikh man was demanding he take it off his article of faith, but the individual allegedly stated it was not an article of faith, but rather a weapon. There was an attempt not actually doing it, but trying to pretend as if he was going to be run over by his Dodge Ram pickup truck. So he immediately called the police. We made sure that there was a police report and that this hate crime was reported. He described the situation as an eye-opener for Sikhs in Sudbury. However, he said this case isn't an isolated incident, but rather part of a growing wave of hateful incidents directed against the South Asian community. I'm just, so that's one incident. I'm looking to see if I can see another one since we've had 4 in Sudbury. Okay. Don't see any other examples. There's the one. Someone seeing someone, if they're not educated, bearing a weapon, but it's part of the religion, right? To wear this. And so the person gave them a hard time. I don't know if it was a security guard or just somebody, just some citizen walks up to him and demands that he takes his knife off. I'm not sure, but we'll look more into that. I'm going to look more into that because to me, again, I don't see people becoming more hateful. If anything, becoming more helpful to our friends who are coming to Canada. At least in my circles anyways. Just serving them and trying to help them with where they're at. This coming from SSudbury.com, first ever Cambrian College Pride Run. Student, staff, supporters at Cambrian College celebrated Sudbury's first ever Pride Run Saturday, and what organizers are hoping will become a signature event for the 2S LGBTQIA+ community in Sudbury. Some of the runners, walkers, and others joined the 1 kilometer and 5 kilometer walk and run events held entirely on the college campus Saturday morning. One Sudbury man, Jeff Walker, interesting name if you're going to go walking, who now lives in the United States, was in Sudbury with his wife, Laura, and their 3 children on vacation, and they too took part in the event. The walkers, again, interesting, who were runners, are from Huntsville, Alabama. Organizer Crystal Uhl, Cambrian's Wellness Coordinator, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Coordinator, said she couldn't have been more pleased with the turnout. She said participants arrived from all across Sudbury, even Manitoulin Island, and she said one of the reasons for the event is that nothing similar was going on in Sudbury or anywhere else in the north. Interesting. It was an idea we had. We really wanted to put together a race for the college, and we saw a hole in the Pride events. We saw a hole in Pride events in Sudbury. I'm just reading the Sudbury.com article here. In that we'd never had a Pride race up here. So we decided to put on our first Pride run here, hosted by the wellness program, by our Pride Center. And what's with using the American Center spelling all of a sudden everywhere I'm seeing in Canada? Did we change it from RE to ER? I'm not complaining. I just didn't get the memo. By our Pride Center and by our athletic department at Cambrian. Well, there you go. So there was an interesting video my brother sent me from Patrick Bet-David on his show that said there are officially 142 LGBTQ2S plus international days. That's on top of the month and the weeks. There's almost half of the days of our year are taken by different Pride-related international days. So if you're interested in knowing how many though there are, and maybe if you're wanting to celebrate some of those days, half the year is dedicated to the community, which are very oppressed and victimized. So you can see that by making half of the days days to celebrate it. That basically shows how oppressed and how victimized the group is, right? So, and I say that because our show was taken down from YouTube because I was talking about the article when we had the flag raising with our mayor giving a speech, and the group was saying how victimized they are all the time and they have to make headways in society. And then when I was at the hospital yesterday, we saw there's 4 flags up in front of the hospital: a Canadian flag, an Ontario flag, a Franco-Ontario flag, and the Pride flag. Only 4 flags. And you wouldn't expect an oppressed group's flag to be flying alongside Ontario, Canada, and Franco-Ontario flags, right? So my argument was, I think you've crossed the threshold from being a victim to being in power to some degree and having power, right? And that's all I'm saying. There's nothing other than that. I'm just pointing something out that people might be missing somehow if they just read the news. And yeah, do we love everybody? Yes, we love everybody. But if someone's going to lie, I'm going to point it out. Or someone's going to say a half-truth or an untruth or something questionable, I'm going to question it, just like anybody. So a little closer to home here, this is our Minister of Innovation, Science, and Industry. Did you know we had a minister of innovation, science, and industry in Canada? Yes, we do. Very interesting. So he was asked if they're still going to back Justin Trudeau as their leader, and yeah, he was pretty adamant about yes, they are going to stick with him because obviously, like, who else would you want? Like, he's such a great leader, right? Like, everyone in Canada knows his leadership abilities, and you know, things have never been so good in Canada, right? So we'll just check in with him and we'll be right back.
You know that Justin Trudeau has become a lightning rod for a lot of the dissatisfaction in this country. And is he a liability going into this election, or is he an asset?
I would say it's not. It's what you've seen in other countries, that when people are facing a lot of issues, there's frustration. And frustration is reflected oftentimes, you've seen in the recent election, on their leaders. And therefore, there is that. But when you step back, that's why I say to people, in which society, leaving the personalities apart, in which society do you want to live in? What is dear to you? Okay. How would to whom would you give the key of the house? That's really what I say to folks. And when I'm in the street, people said, I'd rather give you the keys.
Liability or asset?
I would say I'm always focusing on making sure that we do what's right for Canadians, and they'll make the final choice. That's how democracy works.
You are not saying that the Prime Minister, that Justin Trudeau, is an asset going into the next election.
He's the leader. He's been providing leadership, and that's what Canadians want to see. It's not an issue about, I'm not going into these, whether people would see it. They see in him the leader of the Liberal Party, and certainly has been an asset in providing steady leadership over more than, I would say close to a decade now. And people, when they look at, and have you seen what is on the offer on the menu? I would say most people that I know would be concerned about giving the keys to anyone else at a time where we're going to a very turbulent time. People want people with experience, expertise, and leadership. And in that sense, people know who he is and know who we are. It's a team sport.
Minister, thank you so much for the time, as always. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
François-Philippe Champagne, Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry.
The reason I wear a cross is because Christianity, and in particular, the figure of Christ, it seems to me, in every
video coming in right afterwards. So innovation, science, and industry. I had a video from John Stossel ready to go today. But we might not have time for it, just showing how government are the least innovators that we know of, and the reasons why. But he talked about, like, who are you going to give the keys to? Like, who else is going to run this country other than Justin Trudeau? Like, who would you get to run the country? Like, why would you want to hand over the keys, right? So you can see we're a team. We're going to stick by our leader. He's a leader. He's been leading. People want a leader. So just to let everyone know, there is a choice whether or not, whatever you feel about somebody, but the media definitely is doing their job to point to, but at least we know what we got here. Like, what's going to happen if this other leader comes into play? And right here, the media is asking the leader of the opposition, after he already gave a speech totally telling everybody what his plans were, the reporter had the audacity of saying, "You don't have a plan, or we never heard your plan." He just gave it, so he had to give it again. But this is your alternative here. You listen for yourself, and, very clear, he's not going to mince words.
Your party hasn't actually said what your policy towards safe injection sites will be. So you want to close this one, but will you close others? What will you do around safe injection sites across the country?
I will be closing them. We will close safe injection sites next to schools, playgrounds, anywhere else that they endanger the public and take lives. We will defund. By the way, they're not safe injection sites. I'm sorry. I used your dishonest language. See, you just repeat the language that is fed to you by the government. Are you a CP? Are you a CP?
CP?
Who are you with?
Globe Mail.
You're with the Globe and Mail. You guys repeat the same language you get from the radical liberal NDP activists, and bureaucracies. You call them safe. How can they be safe? You think it's safe when a bullet comes flying out of one of these sites to kill a mother in Toronto? Do you think that's safe? You think it's safe to have people using crack and heroin and cocaine next to a playground like this? You think that's safe? It's not safe.
Supervised injection.
They're drug dens. They're drug dens. And they've made everything worse. Everywhere they've been done, they've made everything worse. And I know what you'll do now. You'll now go and call the same bureaucrats who caused the chaos, and you'll call them experts. The people who caused the 400% increase in drug overdose deaths in Vancouver, you're going to call them experts. They are expert at destroying communities and ending lives, but at perpetuating their own industries, because that's what they are. They are industries that want to expand, and the only way they can continue to exist is by keeping the misery going. So they're not safe. They are unsafe injection sites. They are drug dens, and we oppose them. The Supreme Court has been very clear that these radical bureaucrats don't have the right to open these drug dens anywhere they want. The court made it clear that there are reasonable restrictions that can be placed on them, and that includes playgrounds. So I've told you my policy. I'm against the drug dens next to children's playgrounds, schools, other places where people who are vulnerable in the community live. We will defund them. There will not be a single taxpayer dollar from the Poilievre government going to drug dens. Every single penny will go to treatment and recovery services to bring our loved ones home drug-free. Thank you.
Okay, merci.
Nice try. Nice try. The Supreme Court didn't say that. See, I know what you're trying to do. The Supreme Court didn't. No, I'm giving you my answer. The Supreme Court did not say that there can be. It's okay. The Supreme Court didn't say that you can have a drug den wherever you want. It said
I wish the
that
media would do that to other leaders as well. Like they're debating them. They're asking questions, and then they debate with him. It's like you're a reporter. You ask questions. You get the facts. But the reporters are activists, right? So they have an opinion and they have an agenda. They want to. So he's using this time to debate with the leader. But I think, as far as I'm concerned, Poilievre does a good job debating them anyways. It's only working to their demise. Keep debating them, and then the videos go viral or whatever. He wants to make rehabilitation treatment centers instead of safe injection sites, as they call them, right? So-called safe injection sites, which has been what I've been saying all along. I've never spoken to Pierre Poilievre. I've never heard what his take is on it. I haven't, but he's coming out saying the exact same thing I've been saying all along. It's my opinion. I didn't get it from anywhere. I don't like seeing people who are on drugs, and I don't think the right thing is to give them more drugs. Call it a different thing. This is a safe drug. You're going to be on it for the rest of your life. It's going to be free to you on the taxpayer's dime, and you're going to be stoned for the rest of your life. And sure, it's going to destroy your liver over time, and it's going to do other harmful things. But this is a safe drug for you to be addicted to. That'll give you a similar buzz, but different than the harmful ones that are out there, right? Talking about methadone. So, anyways, and there's more like it, and it's just backwards thinking. So it's good to hear things like this. Let's get them off. Let's get people off of all drugs. Let's rehabilitate. Let's have people, not need to have a drug or be addicted to one in order to function in society. Let's have that. Let's make that our goal. And with that, we have to end it here. Time is up. I hope everyone who was able to bear with me, it was worth it this morning when we finally got the show on the road. We really appreciate you and the time that you spend with us and the conversation that we have each and every weekday morning. Thank you so much for being with us, listening on the radio or online. We'll be back same time, same place on the same platforms. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Ciao, everyone.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.